What's going on, everyone? Chris back with another video. Today we're going to be checking out a smartphone here actually by a company called NUU. They've been around for a while, producing kind of budget, mid-range, lower-end smartphones that are easily accessible for maybe a first-time smartphone buyer, or for a phone for a kid, or in a pinch or something like that. So we have the NUU A25. Yes, it is a new phone by a company called NUU. And so this can be picked up on Amazon for about 169 bucks. I'll leave the link down below where you can pick this up. This here, we have the black variant. This specific device comes both in black and gold, portrayed here on the front. And now I'm kind of actually quite interested. I haven't used really a budget phone really in some time, to be honest. I think the most budget device I've used as of late probably would have been the Pixel 6a. That's more maybe even a mid-range phone than a budget. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the specs of the NUU A25. So this uses a Helio G99 processor. So that is a budget, mid-range, entry-level processor, but seems to be completely compatible in terms of capability with octa-core processor, 2.2 gigahertz clock speed, 6 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage, which can actually be expanded up to a terabyte of external micro SD card storage. So that's actually awesome to see. We have a 5,000 milliamp hour battery in this. We also get a triple rear camera setup with 50 megapixel sensor with an 8 megapixel front camera. And now the display is what's kind of really the star of the show here on this device. This is going to be a 6.7 inch full AMOLED 8 FHD plus 128 hertz display. So AMOLED screen, 120 hertz display on a device that's costing 169 bucks. That's quite impressive. The phone, we get a charger and the cable with a SIM tool inside. So if we take a look at this charger, output 18 watts, so 18 watt fast charging, you get that there inside. So cool to see. That's pretty much, oh, what'd you look at that? There are some extra goodies inside of the box which you have to get underneath. So check this out. You get some NUU stickers, and you get a clear silicone case. All right, so you get your device protected from day one. Fantastic, I love seeing that. But also something you should expect from a budget phone. Maybe add some little bit extra perks here. So here is the phone itself. You know, this actually feels quite nice. This is a pretty fairly minimal designed device. Blocky, to say the least. You get some chamfered edges around the sides here. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look on the actual exterior of the device. We have our power button, volume up and down buttons. That volume button is pretty thin, as we can see there. At the bottom, you have your speaker grill, USB-C port, and headphone jack, so win. So more than likely, if you're spending about 169 bucks, you probably still have a pair of wired earbuds. On the left-hand side, you have your SIM micro SD card slot up there, and then mic in the top, mic hole at the bottom as well. So on the back here, we have your NUU branding. You have your 50 megapixel sensor, also here 2 megapixels, and then a VGA quality bokeh camera with your LED flash. So the back is this matte finish. It kind of has a nice feel to it. And then up front, we have that 8 megapixel camera. There is a pre-applied screen protector, which is already collecting a lot of fingerprints. But let's go ahead and turn this on. NUU. This is running out of the box Android 13, so fairly new, but yes, granted, we have Android 14 already. As a result, looks like there's some manufacturing glue kind of sticking out of the side right here that I missed. Hate to see that, but it is what it is. So yeah, so here is the bezel up front. So here's that display, and uniform bezel all the way around, rounded corners of the display there, but a completely flat front display. So no rounded 2.5D glass or anything like that, completely flat, so that's awesome. And it looks like the display is raised up and separated by like a plastic border. If we can kind of look here, so there's a small little plastic rim between the frame and where the glass is to kind of help that impact resistance. So yeah, if we look at this, there's the white default white balance. If we look off axis, there's a slight discoloration, but not too bad with this AMOLED. So you're going to get deep blacks, complete deep black. When you're looking at content, you're going to have that nice difference of HDR as a result. We're going to go through the setup here. You know, something I'd noticed, the fingerprint scanner is nowhere to be found. We'll see if there's one built into the display. So I'll be right back and get this set up. All right, everyone, so going through the setup, there is the fingerprint scanner right here, down pretty low on the screen. So this is just an optical fingerprint sensor. There's nothing like ultrasonic or anything like that. So basically it shines a white light through the display to light up your fingerprint, and then this little small tiny camera catches your fingerprint, which is normal on a lot of smartphones that do that. So nothing basic in that regard. It seems to scan my finger just fine without any sort of misreads or anything like that so far, but we're going to check to see how well it actually unlocks once we get both of these scanned in. In terms of the haptic feedback, as I've typed in my passwords, as it's actually scanning and vibrating, confirming the reads, the haptics are fine. Nothing nice like an iPhone, of course, or a Pixel, or really nice high-end devices. You can feel the vibration down in the lower portion. Nothing like real punchy or strong or short. It's just kind of basic in that regard. There is face unlock, which I'm just going to skip for now, and we'll skip that. So yeah, so far setup of the device fairly straightforward. I'm restoring my backup from my Pixel, so that way you can have all of your apps and everything else. Text display size. So far, nothing out of the ordinary of a standard setup. All right, here we go. In terms of default apps that this runs, you get an FM radio. So there's an FM tuner in here, it looks like, which you'll probably need to require headphones to hear your FM radio. So that's pretty cool. A NUU Help app, but other than that, you just get your standard Google services baked in right out of the box, sound recorder. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these settings here. I'm going to change this background because I'm not a fan of this color, basically. So we'll go into where is that? Dark theme, which is typical. Wallpaper and layout. Let's change wallpaper real quick. Oof, that text is odd. That other text color compared to everything else. So let's see if that helps at all. Themed icons. Okay, so we need to check. All right, so it didn't restore all the settings from my Pixel, so we want to go in and check for gestures here. I don't like the 3 navigation, gesture navigation all the way, which is now, all right, that seems to be more like it. Press and hold, standard there. All right, there is, let's check for updates. Android 13, like I said, right out of the box, it is up to date with an August security patch. So we are now in November, so we are behind there, unfortunately. It looks to be, there's a Dura Speed option, helps boost the foreground app by restricting background applications, does not restrict background activities of apps switched on the list. So basically it restricts background apps and notifications essentially, and then switch on to allow apps to run in the background. So you want to, if you want to turn that on or off. All right, so let's continue on. This color mode and temperature, there's a normal and there is a vivid, which you can see right here in this kind of orangish area is kind of where you're going to see that vividness change most. I'm not sure if you can see it on camera. I kind of like the normal, and then you can change your color temperature to a warmer or cooler hue depending on your preference. There's a dynamic refresh rate, so basically it'll drop down to 60 hertz or boost up to 120. Now in the marketing it says 90 hertz here, and so if we, let me see here, interesting. Let me go into developer settings real quick and see if I can get the refresh rate to display. 1 second. Show refresh rate. All right, so we're at 120 right now. It drops down to 60. So that we can see there. So if you go back to settings and display, dynamic, it just, setting it to high will constantly set it to always 100. So you're gonna, there's gonna be some battery drainage as a result. Dynamic will at least drop it down to 60 when it's just a static, but as soon as you put your finger on it, it's gonna jump up to 120. So I would recommend leaving it the dynamic as a result. But overall, yeah, this feels quite responsive actually. As you saw, I'm installing all my apps in the background. It is downloading everything, so I won't kind of write it off just yet. But in terms of responsiveness, in terms of you know, touch input and the speed in which it's scrolling, is actually doing a pretty good job there keeping up. No real home settings, so this uses just Launcher 3. This is pretty much a very basic AOSP stock Android experience, as we see here, from features or lack of features, I should say. Battery manager, battery usage, nothing out of the ordinary, battery percentage, so that's cool. Nothing out of the ordinary there. So this just uses Wi-Fi 5. You're not going to get Wi-Fi 6 from this SoC or anything. Bluetooth 5.2 as well. Nothing there. Here's our storage. So right out of the gate, we're looking about 110 gigs of free storage after all said and done. I've already kind of started installing some apps though, so about 110 gigs of worth of storage you're going to get from the get-go. So as we saw, Android 13 August security patch, and more than likely Google Play system update, which will help as well with some other features, but I'm going to go ahead and turn off that. All right, and to the left we have your Google Home. So yes, let's look at the camera real quick. While we're at it, let's throw the phone into the TPU case, and there you go. Nothing bulky, snaps in right away. Your power button, funny enough, is actually exposed even though there's no fingerprint scanner. Your buttons are pretty tactile, you know, actually. Surprised there. The volume buttons could be a little bit better, a little nicer in terms of tactility, and fingerprint. All right, So yes, I understand I'm installing apps still, so here is the unlock speed, and then tapping the screen will make the fingerprint icon open right away, as we see there. So it is on the slow side. We'll see if after installing all of these apps, restarting the phone, if that improves anything. We'll open the camera. Let's look through this. So there is Pro mode. There's a lot of different camera features built into this. And so let's look through some of them. So there's an AI feature, as we see right up here. We have option for HDR auto. We go into settings. We can turn off brand marketing if we want it or not, but that's interesting. Timestamps. So it gives you actually some sub settings within each of these. So that's interesting. So if you click on this, it opens up some additionals if you want the model shown or not. So that's pretty cool. Or disable the location. Screen size brings up the settings right down here. So we're at 12 megapixels. So it bends the 50 megapixels down into a 12 megapixel image, which is normal for a lot of cameras these days. And there's probably then a dedicated 50 megapixel camera mode, which doesn't, here we go, Ultra HD. So yeah, so this is going to be using the 50 megapixel sensor in that regard. So if we go back to photos, when we get the computational kind of edits and things like that, grid lines there. Yeah, a nice touch shooting. So basically you touch the screen, it focuses, and then it snaps the image right away. So basically you can do that. That's actually pretty simple. It makes it super easy. You have your digital zoom here up to 4 times. With this being 50 megapixel, it's going to look really clear. Actually, that, you know, with this good lighting, that actually does not look too bad. I'll post the images and show them up as we're going through this here. Video mode. Sorry, that's really bothering me. So video mode, settings here, we have electronic image stabilization. It looks like that's disabled somehow. More modes. So you can have more modes. Interesting. You can either tab over or swipe up to bring up some extra modes down here. So swiping up brings over to the more. So that's pretty interesting. I actually like the tabs probably a little bit better. Camera sounds, select color. What is this? What does that mean? Is it just showing, oh, different, you can change, oh, that's cool. You can change the color of the kind of like the selector color right here. So down in the photo, you can change the color of what's highlighted. So, oh, that's pretty cool. Customize, let's see here, function layout. So you can reorganize all these different things on the bottom row. So if you want, let's say, to have the pro mode up there, you can just we'd have to remove one of them. There we go. So now when we apply that setting, we now have pro mode right here, which is awesome to see. That pro mode is available on this budget phone, which lets you then change your ISO level for low light, and then of course you like your shutter speed, and then your manual focus depending on how close that you're wanting to get here. So you know, I'm gonna have to definitely test this camera out and kind of put it through its paces. I'm curious how. Okay, so there's the portrait mode, and then if we go to macro, that's when it'll switch to our macro lens. That's on the back, so let's position this. Of course, a budget camera is going to, a lot of it comes down to lighting. So you're not going to get a tremendous camera experience, especially in low light. But for the most part, this is, you know what, I'm going to take this out whenever I'm out and about, use this to take some photos. You also have a Google Lens button right here, right into the camera, so you'll be able to switch and kind of use that. But while this is still downloading, you can double press the power button to open your camera. Alrighty, so we go ahead and plug the phone into a charger. Here we can see it came with 42% battery, and right now it is charging at 6 watts. Interesting. What if we use this other included charger? It's still at 6 watts. Huh. Okay. So 7, 8, 10, 11, 13, 14. So from the looks of it, there you go. So now it's fast charging. So now we're charging at 17 watts with this cable. Bowsys, which I'll leave the link if you want to pick up one of these cables. Pretty neat to be able to see the wattage that it's charging at. This is the brick that it comes included with. But you know, overall, quite impressed. The phone is light. It's definitely not a heavy device for its size. This is compared to a Pixel 7, so we can see here the additional size of height and width. It is a blocky device, you know, but fairly easy to manage and hold. In terms of brightness, here we have the auto brightness. I would say that gets adequately bright to use for just kind of everyday use. Maybe in direct sunlight, it might struggle a bit. I will say the display here, it likes to kind of make everything fairly big. So I would recommend decreasing the display size to kind of fit more on your screen and make everything not look so just in your face. That looks a lot better. So yeah, I would say, you know, 170 bucks right off the bat. I will say this is not bad. Launching the camera there, I didn't actually look at the front camera, that 8 megapixel front camera. Let's look at some of these settings if there's anything really. Mirror, that's pretty much it. And then yeah, so let me take a quick shot. So again, this is like with great lighting. Literally I have a studio light right in front of me. You do get some loss of quality, kind of smudges some of the quality here, but you know, for your basic smartphone, 169 bucks, 120 hertz AMOLED screen. There's a lot of higher end smartphones that don't even have AMOLED, let alone 120 hertz. iPhone. Anywho, yeah, I would probably say if this gets updates, features, security updates, maybe Android 14. I don't know NUU's track record with software updates. That's always a concern of mine with some of these kind of lower end budget devices, and manufacturers, they don't really support their phones in terms of software wise. But let's take a listen here real quick. And there's going to be an ad, of course. YouTube, thank you, Google. So if you guys like my content and are enjoying what you see here on this channel, feel free to like and subscribe and hit that bell notification icon. That way when I post up new stuff, you can check it out.
I'm here when you need my voice. I'm here when you need my voice.
So bottom firing speaker, there's nothing coming out of the earpiece, so you're only going to get you know, single channel audio as a result.
When you need my
Not too bad for 169 bucks. That audio is pretty much all the way up, with audio pretty much down to 30, almost 40%. The audio is pretty low. So the audio levels seem to be kind of out of whack. It's not until really usable, about 50%. So there's an audio sample there. So like I said, I'm gonna take some more pictures and post them up here in this video as I take them, and when I went to the camera section, you'll see those images. But if you guys have questions on this NUU A25 smartphone, let me know down in the comments below. Any questions, concerns, comments even, let me know, you know. Happy to answer them the best that I can. Thank you, NUU, for sending this out to review. And I'm gonna add a little bit extra to this once I get everything restored and restart the device and let the device kind of settle in, and then share some additional feedback. Alrighty, so all the apps installed, restarted the device for that Google Play update. So there are a couple little things that I've started to notice now in terms of opening apps and then swiping back home. Sometimes there is a little bit of a stutter, of a frame drop here and there and things like that. But overall, I would say like it's 90% fine. There are, like I said, a couple of occurrences that there's those frame drops. Swiping between all of these is really smooth. Touch response is great. The fingerprint, opening the screen after the power button press, there is a delay there, so it's not instantaneous, as you can see. And then unlocking the phone just takes that slight bit of time to just unlock. So there, with the screen off, unlocking, screen on, unlocking, and it's fast. It's great. So those are the two instances that I've noticed so far. Alrighty, everyone. So I had a chance to kind of use the device and kind of play around with it, take some photos and things like that, let the device kind of settle into its own. And overall, I think this is a pretty decent device, pretty much for, like, I would say like a teen, you know, if you need to get their like first smartphone, for sure. This NUU A25 is a great budget option for something like that. If you don't have extra cash or want to do some sort of carrier deal, you can just kind of pick up one of these. So here is that SIM card slot. If I can actually get it out with my finger, and it's as far as it kind of slips out. You gotta use some real fingernails there. So here is that micro SD card slot with your SIM slot. SIM 1. So there's no, looks like this is dual SIM as well. But this is something I wanted to actually try out. Is I use Verizon and just kind of see if my SIM card will actually work from my Pixel 7. Of course, on the back and on their website, they do show the bands that it uses, as we can see there. So this is just LTE. It looks like just GSM more than likely, but you know, I wanted to kind of test firsthand for you all whether or not, you know, I'd actually get service on here. And this tool is a little finicky. I don't remember which way this tool inserts. I'm assuming it was this way. And so here's the device. I'm with it on. Yeah, Verizon, chose Verizon there. Use mobile data, voice over LTE, Wi-Fi calling, voice over Wi-Fi. And I'm going to go ahead and just restart the phone here. On the actual phone, there is a pre-applied plastic screen protector on here. So it's going to pick up smudges because it is plastic. There's not really a great oleophobic coating on it, but there's that OLED screen, which completely black, and it's, I would say, from a viewing experience for a device at this price point is actually phenomenal. I'm quite surprised. It is lightweight. It is bulky, blocky in the sense of its overall size. This pretty much, I would say, is almost on par with like a iPhone Pro Max series device, and that's saying something. You're getting a large screen, device with large battery inside, 120 hertz, as well as the OLED display. That's some sick specs, plus micro SD card expansion. So I will say I'm very surprised by the overall just standby time of this. Literally, I started recording a couple days ago, and charged this up to 100% and kind of just, left it sitting by my bedside overnight. And to be honest, this thing just sipped on battery. It didn't even lose. I think it maybe lost maybe like not even 6% overnight and throughout the entire day, just screen off, sitting on the table. Of course, your mileage might vary. And in the sense of, if you have a lot of apps running and things like that, it's going to drain battery. But the aspect that, because this is such a kind of a mid-range chipset, it's going to sip on that 5,000 milliamp hour battery forever. Yeah, so this does not work on Verizon. As we can see, you have that little exclamation point sign up there. It says voice over Wi-Fi, but yeah, you're not going to get actual LTE data or anything like that, unfortunately. So just be aware. So this uses like T-Mobile, AT&T network, and it's also subsidiary carriers. So if you are interested, be sure you only have one of those carriers. The launcher is a little finicky in the sense that you can't remove this Google search bar at all. It's stuck there. It's the at a glance widget, but you can't move it. You can't customize that at all. You can't, there's no other settings whatsoever. And so that's, just keep in mind, it's usually down here at the bottom. There's this gap right here, which you would think it would be, or even down below the icons down there, but nope, it's right up top. But it is what it is. So guys, if you are interested in picking up the NUU A25, I'll leave the link down in the description where you can pick this up. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about it. I might kind of just keep this around as kind of just hey, if a family member needs a phone, I'll hand it off to them. If there's any sort of updates, I'll be sure to include them in a pinned post as well. Such as like Android 14 or something like that. So stay tuned, just kind of keep an eye out. Nice that you get a nice kind of included case with it. So thank you all for watching, and until next time, I'll see you on the next video.